Hello everyone, this is Dr. Shijun Wang. In today's video, I am going to continue teaching you how to play the Brahms Paganini Variation Book 1. In the previous video, I shared with you guys on the different pianist reaction on these pieces. And also, I talked about how did I learn variation 1 through 6. Today I am going to continue this series with variation 7. So far, the previous 6 variations, every single one had a very difficult and specific technique that we have to conquer. In this one, it's slightly easier. And why? Because between the two hands, they always go opposite directions. For non-pianists, or if somebody who never played a musical instrument, they might think, isn't it easier for both hands to go up together or go down together? The answer is actually no. When they do it opposite direction, then they actually do the forehand playing and then the backhand playing at the same time. Right? For left hand to play towards the left side is easier. For right hand to play towards the right hand side, the right side is easier. So that's actually quite comfortable. Okay, it's better than this. You might find it off balanced pretty easily. But there are two things we need to still pay attention to. One is the intervallic relations in the left hand. Everything is chromatic, so it moves down chromatically. However, right hand does not. The first three notes are the first three notes of A major scale, so it has major seconds, but the chromatic part starts on C sharp. So I would actually aim for that C sharp, and then once we reach the C sharp, everything is safe. And also, if you've listened to my Chopin Etude series, I many times talked about how the body weight, we have to center our body accordingly towards our technique, so which direction does the hand go. And here, left hand needs to go to the left side, right hand needs to go to the right side. What do we do? To lean forward, like your upper torso, if you lean forward, that instantly adds weight to the fingers. That makes it much easier to show this crescendo. Also, when we go down, when left hand goes towards the right side and right hand goes towards the left side, we still need to emphasize the top, right? The top is always on the right side. So here we need to do some adjustment of the hand position. Instead of going this way, we have to go this way. So that we can still emphasize the top notes of the right hand melody. Okay, next one, variation 8. It has a lot of jumps, distant jumps, some larger than 2 octaves, and almost 3 octaves. And when we face big leaps, of course, if only one hand is doing it, it's much better. But if 2 hands are doing it together, it's okay if they're towards the same direction, but it's very difficult if one hand goes down, the other hand goes up. Because we simply cannot split our eyeballs to do left and then right at the same time. A very good example is the Chopin second scherzo. right? We simply can't just aim both hands. What do? My solution is I have to aim one very quickly so that my hand can find it. And then I aim for the other one. Now, of course, you might choose to aim the left hand or the right hand first. It's up to you. So in this case, it's not the hardest because when one hand has big leaps, for instance, in measure 9, then the right hand really has very, very closed position notes. Right? That's chromatic scale. I can find it without looking. I can just know the graphic of the keyboard while I aim everything in the left hand. The beginning, right, we have a leap of almost 3 octaves down in the left hand, and then right hand a 6. So here, my solution is that I will, of course, turn towards the left side to aim my left hand notes. But during this time, when I'm trying to turn my head, I'm already finding my right hand. So by the time I'm aiming for my left hand note, my right hand is already sitting on this C octave. Okay, of course it takes time to get used to, but it's totally doable to make this section secure. Not like, let's say, Chopin's second sonata in the second movement, you have that big leap, or in the Petrushka, you have the big leap, and sometimes you just need to pray. And this one, I think it's possible to have a 100% accuracy. Okay. Variation 9 is a slower one. Left hand has this repeated triplet or sextuplet, and right hand has this kind of growing chromaticism in legato. So the chromatic scale and also this kind of fight between the triplets and duplets, it creates tremendous tension. And right hand or this left hand, when left hand is playing this melodic line, then it has to be super legato. And I always have a Claudio Arrau's idea of the hand crawling on the keyboard like a caterpillar. And why caterpillar? Because it never leaves the ground. It never leaves the ground even when it's moving. I would say more than 80% of the body is on the ground. So have that imagination. It will really help you to play anything legato. Variation 10, in terms of the technique, it's not fast, it doesn't have big leaps, but it's really a great exercise for separate articulation, because left hand, this is, I think, imitating the pizzicato in double bass or cello, and right hand is really very nicely phrased, and it's legato. So here you have to really play pizzicato in the left hand and play with the bows, with arco in the right hand. So these, of course, are not etudes, but clearly Brahms had a lot of kind of idea of different types of technique inside. And the practice of articulation really is more focused in the 20th century, right? If you take a look at Ligeti etudes, it's full of just articulations and controls compared to Chopin list. But I think Brahms here is already foreseeing this pattern, and his understanding of the definition of technique actually kind of evolved. He's about 23 years later than Chopin, and in the way it's already being advanced, the understanding of what's technique. Variation 11 really is my favorite in this whole set. And that's the reason I took the challenge to learn this. It's in major, it's the flipped, instead of, it's the flipped, kind of the mirror image of the original theme. And here I want to share this very precious lesson that I learned during a master class of Gary Grafman, actually this February in New York City, and that was a month before the COVID thing started to spread. And Mr. Grafman mentioned how when Brahms is using the dynamic sign dolce, he often meant the music to be more introvert, more timid, more inside. But when he writes espressivo, it means the extrovert, almost like Robert Schumann, right? The two characters. And for espressivo, it's more singing, it's more deeply expressive, and it's extrovert. So here, left hand is marked espressivo, right hand is marked dolce. And I think it's not that we have to always emphasize this left hand tenor melody, but we can switch. Yeah, we can try. Right? When we emphasize the right hand, it sounds almost lonely. But when the tenor voice comes in, it sounds more sincere, it sounds more expressive. Okay, and the second part, when we get to measure 9, even in the melodic part, I think Brahms planted a hidden theme. And what is this? It's the same 3-note motive in this Paganini theme. I think maybe in a couple of months, my next project is to share with everyone the Intermezzi Opus 118, and in that I will review this masterful use of the 3-note themes and how Brahms used that as the DNA to connect every single one of the little pieces. There are 6 in the set of 118. Okay, next one, variation 12, also is 3 against 2, and it's in major and then minor. Yeah, he has this use of chiaroscuro. If I say this is a canon, you might laugh, because I mean, even left hand is not in triplet, right hand is in triplets. They don't have the same notes. How can this be a canon? It's a canon of the dynamics. It's a canon of musical phrases. So left hand starts about half beat early. It has this like the dome shape, and then right hand only the eighth note later. And that takes a lot of time to practice. So here again, Brahms' idea of technique is no longer fast, loud, and leaps. And his idea is to control dynamics, to control different phrases, and also to control different articulations. Next week, I will finish up this book one. I will share with you how did I learn variations 13 and 14, and these two are the hardest among all the variations. And also, if we consider music repertoire, piano repertoire as a whole, these two variations will be really on the top list of difficulty levels. And this glissando, not only that it's single noted, it's a octave glissando that we very rarely see in piano literatures before this piece. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned something, and I also hope these will inspire some of you to learn this wonderful book of variations by Brahms. I will see you guys next week. Thank you for watching.